Harambe YouTube, it's Charles here, and today I want to talk about Gunslinger Spawn, number 47 from Image Comics, part of the Spawn universe. I really enjoy this character. I've been on board since issue number 1, and it doesn't feel like it's been close to 50 issues, but it is. It just reads very fast. This issue is no exception to that. It takes place after the battle on the West Coast between the monster that Nyx had sent from hell and the combined forces of the spawns, the angels, and the vampires to defeat this thing, and the world finding out about these supernatural creatures not just being whispers and legends, but being reality. And they're having to deal with now a society that knows they exist, and it doesn't quite know how to coexist with them. And while this is all going on, Gunslinger Spawn still has his own issues, because if you remember, if you've been following along, and if you haven't been following along, I'll fill you in. He's essentially on a quest he's been on since he got taken from the 18th century into the future by Spawn and the dark, what are they called, the dark zones, the dead zones. And that is to get vengeance for his sister. And in doing that, he tracked down the person who was seemingly immortal, or had something going on to where they were still alive, and they were powerful, and they were working at a bank. And he eventually tracked him down and killed him, but society, again, these battles aren't known about. So they saw this gunslinger shoot a banker in cold blood, not realizing what was all about, what the banker's true nature was. So he's been on the run for at least probably the last, I would say, 8 to 10 issues. Having been captured, and there is an issue with the person's body who he possessed when he got brought forth in time, Javier, who happened to be the son of a drug lord. So we have that complication going on. And in his travels, he ended up helping a lady who was a worker at a motel he was staying with, saving her from these bad guys. But that kind of built this relationship between them, where she felt like she owed him, and so she drove him around and unwittingly became an accessory. So she is in hiding, and he is beat up, recovering in an old barn. And that is where we start this issue. A young boy and his dog discovers him, and it's really just a reset of the story, going from the big battle that we had in the main Spawn book, and him, going through his own personal issues. And he just came off of a team up with an angel trying to reconnect with his daughter. That was a very, very action-packed arc. And we're getting caught up with Linda, her going stir crazy, and crazy in general, being a fugitive and being cut off from her family, and Javier being in a vulnerable place. I'm not going to give you more than that, because like I always say, my goal with these reviews are not to ruin the book for you. It's not to tell you a story. It's to get you caught up a little bit and hopefully point you at something that you may enjoy. But the main draw of this book for me is that it is a look at the Spawn universe, but with a country aesthetic, and also a fish out of water story as well, because Gunslinger Spawn has been brought from the 1800s to to this century. And while he is great at fighting, and he has control over animals, and he has all of these different things going for him, he's illiterate. He doesn't understand technology. He didn't understand vehicles. And so he's, a very powerful being, but at the same time, powerless. And so he is a very sympathetic hero in the Spawn universe, which quite frankly we don't get a lot of. So check this out. There's also another series called Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger, which is a prequel to this, which tells his story in the 1800s. So that's my thoughts on Gunslinger Spawn number 47. Get it at your local comic book stores. It's from Image Comics, and I'll see you guys next time on more comic book reviews. I'm out.